Dana. God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own. Yes, the strong gets more, while the weak ones faint. Empty pockets don't ever make the grade. Mama may have and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Monday, you got lots of friends crowding round your door. Money's gone and spending ends, they don't come around no more. Rich relations give crust of bread or such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own.
It's worked for Gary Locke, and it's apparently working for Greg Nichols at this point. That I'm the every guy you can trust. I'm not gonna move and shake on you. I'm stable, and that seems to play well here.
Gary Locke hasn't done very much in the governor's office in 5 years, and people love him.
The question is where does the 22% go? And I don't know that it definitely just goes to Nichols.
No,
I
not at
don't
all.
think and I think that's
I think that there are a lot of the core people inside of the Shell camp and those who have supported Paul Shell that really are much more critical of Greg Nichols because they perceive him as being a little too close to the county politics. And here in the city, we tend to like that county one arm's length removed to the affairs of the city. On the other hand, I also think that he does have the core support that Seattle likes to pride itself about being in terms of that left of center environmental ethic. I think you can expect the environmentalists to be very active in this general
However,
election.
for Shell, one thing that you will see is that I think a lot more of his big donors overlap with Sidran than overlap with Nichols.
I think Washington conservation voters endorsed both Nichols and Shell, so they're obviously gonna. I mean, you're right. You'll get that environmental vote.
Let's get some viewer calls in here. We're glad for those folks who are tuning in this evening. We do want to get your calls on the air. The number to call is 206-684-TV21. We're going to go to Hank. Hi, are you there?
I am.
Hi, thanks for watching and for calling in tonight. What's your question or comment?
Well, I have one comment and two questions. One comment is that it seems that Mayor Shaw was, general consensus is he was ineffective as a mayor. I'd like to know from the panelists what one quality they think would make each of these candidates an effective mayor. What do they bring that might make them effective as a mayor? The other question, I guess, would be, Sidran talks about the council being paralyzed by process, and how do you think he could make it less process-oriented? I mean, essentially, you have to wrest some control from the city council. So do you think that Seattle could become less process-oriented, and what would that mean?
Thank you.
I never see Seattle becoming less process-oriented, but
too ingrained.
it's a nice thought. I respect the question. I would say that right now, you're right, that I think the council relations between the 11th floor and the 12th floor in City Hall, the council floor and the mayor's floor, has not always been what it ought to be.
Rocky, actually.
And I think with a new mayor, it will be probably better with either, though I would suspect you're going to have equal number of city council members either staying out of it or going with Sidran because of that. Right now, the relationships between the mayor's office and the 11th floor probably are not as testy as the council relations and the county. That's a rockier road right now.
That's very true. On the other hand, I mean, if you've got Sidran coming in saying, I want to streamline things, and in doing so, I mean, there's an implicit threat there that I want to take power away from the city council, and I don't know that they're going to be that happy about
there's
that.
been
Job. I mean, I kind of disagree. I think that the relationship between, I actually think if you go out to the 11th floor and talk to the city council members and talk to the aides, which I do as a reporter there, I mean, they like Shell because he comes down, he talks to them, he floats ideas. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think what the voters think, that he's a bumbler sometimes and doesn't quite get stuff done, but I think it's a cozier relationship than it has been when he first came on. And I actually think there is the fear that either Nichols is going to come in and maybe trim stuff down, or Sidran's just going to come in and bring his ideas and force the Commerce, frame the debate his way, and there's not going to be as much discussion. So I actually think it's, in a weird way, because of Process Seattle, that the relationship between the 11th floor and 12th floor is a little cozier than we think. So either one who comes in, I think from an outsider's perspective, I think it'll be a nice change.
It's certainly true.
You'll see a little more drama.
Well, the person also asked, what will it take to make an effective mayor? And I want to say, if you discount the WTO and the Mardi Gras and the earthquake and all of those sort of major things that I think would have been a challenge for any leader, any mayor, for the most part, I think, as you said, a lot of people liked what Shell was doing. He, kept things on an even keel. They liked the business side. He is a businessman, and they liked that side of it. So it's almost like we have to kind of craft our perfect candidate. So if we could do that, what is it that's going to take? What is it that's going to make a mayor that people can get behind and that they feel kind of hits all the slots that we're looking for?
I think you have to answer that question in the framework of what's Seattle's economy going to look like for the next 4 years. And right now, I don't think it's going to look very good. I think we just found out we're going to lose 30,000 jobs. The national economy is going into something of a downturn. The world economy depends on Americans buying things. That may not do too well. And we're still absorbing the hit from the dot-com. And Paul Shell, during his era, one of the reasons he was able to satisfy so many constituencies, the neighborhoods and everything else, Seattle was getting more money in the coffers than it had ever gotten before in its history. Times were good. Everybody could get paid off. Everybody was being made happy. There are 1,000 more jobs within the city. It went from 10,000 to 11,000 in 4 years. A lot of that stuff's going to have to be cut in the next 4 years. So the question isn't so much effectiveness. The question is, who do you think is going to cut what? out of the city budget, and how is that going to change the city services, what the city does to affect the daily lives of voters?
Coming in with those types of challenges, is it almost a no-win or a tough-win situation for whoever comes in? Because it's going to be tough to satisfy all those different constituencies.
It seems like you're right on about where people are going to make cuts, but I think obviously the number one polling issue is transportation, and it's just that every candidate heard that. That's what their polling said. So I think one check plus for whoever becomes the next mayor is, can they get something done on transportation? People want to see it. They just have to set a goal and do it. We've been spinning our wheels, no pun intended, on this issue.
Right.
And so if someone come and say, I'm going to do X, I'm going to build this line from here to here, and someone sees that happen,
But the irony is that for things like gridlock, which when people talk about transportation, they're talking about getting stuck in traffic, basically. When they talk about that, when they talk about housing, there are so many issues there that a mayor really doesn't have much control over. How does a mayor fix gridlock? It's you can point to things that you've done to try and help, but realistically, the traffic's not going to be any better in 4 years, and that's what people are going to respond to.
I also think that the economy has yet to weigh in. I was interested in getting into the field this next week with poll because I think that we're going to find that people are nervous as can be about the whole economy, and I think that it's going to overtake transportation. We haven't really seen how it's going to happen, but that fright. I think that what people are looking for is they're going to be looking for some inspirational leadership that can indeed restore that sense of confidence. I think that what folks are looking for is they want a mayor in charge. They want someone that they can believe in. And I would also go so far as to say that by the end of this campaign, Paul Schell's going to look pretty good by comparison in terms of, I think that...
Well, I said, what is it, the evil you know versus the one you don't, and there's a lot of uncertainty.
I think that we're going to think that things were better off than they initially might have seen.
That's a great point. And Job makes a point about that we had all this money coming into coffers, but it's really weird if you look at sort of the liberal values of Seattle, and you look at what a mayor's job is, and a mayor's job is to set the priorities of the city through the budget. Quite frankly, if most Seattleites were to go through the budget,
he did a good job.
Shell was great.
It's a good budget. Now, of course, he had a good economy going with him, but it's weird that here's a guy. You're right. Shell will look good because here's a guy who. And he got 22%.
We've not focused, I think, effectively on, we've looked at the glass half empty for Paul Schell. I don't think that we've looked at the glass half full for either Mark Sidran or Greg Nichols. It's up to them to define themselves as something else besides not Paul Schell. I don't know if we were to ask the voters that you talked to today, what is it that these people offer that would make City Hall and the mayor's office better than Paul Schell's? Other than to say not Paul Schell, I'm not sure that they might be able to say, well, with Greg Nichols, the whole idea of sound transit, he's involved in it, but I don't know that the cost overruns are likely to be as equal as what he's done on that.
Nobody's giving Greg credits for his great work with sound transit. That's just a sign.
So that's where we're going. I have to tell you that I think that most people are going to, ironically, is that we may get to feel better about Paul Schell because he's not a contender, and that we will have to focus in on what are these guys going to bring to the table that's going to be actually better than what we had. We may see that.
One of the things that I think you can see in yesterday's results for mayor with the Charlie Chong vote, with the various minor candidates, and with the fact that a lot of people didn't vote, I think there are a lot of people who thought all three candidates were dreadful.
Well, that's a perfect. Go ahead.
And now we've got two candidates who are dreadful, and you're going to have to choose among them. The other question is how many people are just going to stay away from the race entirely.
That's a perfect segue for some more comments that we got. We went out on the street and asked folks, what are your top 3 perceptions of some of the candidates? And gives us sort of a little bit of insight what's going through some of the voters' minds.
Ok. A ver, si no los usa, si no los usa, si no los usa, si no los usa. Ahí está.
Jackie Lorenzo. Uy, toca subirlo un poquito aquí. Buenas noches, good evening, welcome. Another kid. That's an early start for poetry. I like that. Welcome. Please have a seat. There you go. That's better. Okay. Well, some light here. Buenas noches, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That was Jackie Lorenzer, by the way. Gracias, Jackie, como siempre, con la buena música. I know she asked before, how many of you speak only Spanish? Only Spanish? Only Spanish. And only English? Solamente español, le voy a preguntar en español. Only English? Okay, so I definitely have to do it bilingual. Damn, I was going to do it in Spanish. That's fine, I enjoy both languages. Welcome, welcome to Northwest Latinos Spicy Words and Voices. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos todos a Northwest Latinos o Latinos del Noroeste, palabras y voces picantes. For some reason it sounds like picantes. It's got a little bit more guacamole to it, right? Yeah, clap, yeah, welcome, yeah. There you go. I like some energy. This is a great event. It's a special event because it's the first time that we see different groups of Latino writers coming together to organize and put this event together. They've done a lot of this work on their own before. Casa de Artes with Guillermo Carvajal, by the way. Guillermo, right there, thank you very much. Also, Los Norteños también. Los Norteños is a very well-established group of writers. They do a lot of presentations, by the way, Los Norteños, not only in bookstores, libraries, but also in lots of events. I've seen them in the past, and they're excellent. I think they've been on the radio as well, and TV, Spanish TV here. Mujeres Entre Letras, a group of ladies who, yeah, go ahead, clap. Mujeres Entre Letras. They're very clever. They get together twice a month at a cafe and share their poetry and their narration. So that's a good way to enjoy good coffee and also good poetry. And also the website, raizpalabravoz.com or .com. It's a website. That's a website that wants to connect Latina women in the Puget Sound area also to share their poetry and their writing. And it's important that this is the first time this group of Latino writers are doing something together, because it's actually a good symbol that this time we need to be united. Latinos need to be united. ¿No? I'll say something in Spanish too. Es muy importante que en este momento estemos muy unidos, y creo que es un buen símbolo el hecho de que este grupo de escritores están trabajando unidos para poner este tipo de eventos muy importantes, culturales, y que hacen muchísima falta en nuestra comunidad. Es un símbolo porque en este momento pues estamos esperando una reforma migratoria justa, inclusiva, comprensiva, y que no nos vayan a echar a 10 o 12 millones de personas indocumentadas que tanto bien le hacen a este país. No? I have to throw my political. There you go. And I hope that everybody here, obviously everybody, if you're here, is because you do understand the importance not only of Latinos for the workforce, but also because it's a beautiful culture. So thank you very much for being here tonight. My name is Jaime Mendez. I'll be your MC, maestro de ceremonias. And well, let me welcome the first writer, apparently Roxana. Is Roxana Garcia here already? She's? Roxana, muy bien. She's going to read. Señor Presidente, welcome.
Ok, como dijo, mi nombre es Roxana y voy a leer un poema que se llama Señor Presidente. No todos saben que no es fácil vivir nuestras vidas, porque otra gente no sabe lo que sufrimos día a día. Nos matamos en las huertas por un pedazo de fruta, luego nos quieren separar, no dejan a nuestra gente estar junta. Nos quieren discriminar.